The death toll continues to rise in the Blackwater murder inquiry. The 5 remaining amateur investigators followed the trail of the fictional killer and the £25,000 reward. Another suspect, the piano teacher George Howick, has been cleared. Now just 4 suspects remain. Richard and Rory were sent to play the killer's macabre game.
Richard returns.
Richard survived, to the disappointment of the rest.
If I started this game show again, with the hindsight, I'd probably try and be a little bit nicer to the other people, on the basis that if you stuck up to people a little bit more, they're less likely to vote for you to play the killer's game.
Everyone bites the dust.
Everyone bit the dust. Best man hopefully won.
My best tactic now would just be to get rid of Richard. I think he's the only threat.
Out of the 4 of us that remain now, I know that 2 of us have got to play the killer's game, and I expect, not hope, I actually expect one of them to be Richard, simply because the ill feeling in the house that he created last week is going to be repeated this time.
I suppose in one thing they might be dejected because they know that one of the stronger players has come back to haunt them and continue competing against them in this game.
The morning briefing is about to begin, and the investigators consider the evidence. The killer gave them a necklace that the victim, Catherine Pryor, was wearing when she was murdered. Catherine's sister, Goldie Pryor, was kidnapped, and the necklace demanded as ransom.
Goldie! Are you okay?
Just do what they want.
The mystery kidnapper escaped with the necklace, valued at a mere £6,000, but rumoured to be a priceless family heirloom.
Oh, Christ.
The investigators now know that the dead infant they found was the love child of Charles Wilmington and servant girl Dorothy. Suspect Trevor Doby's mother. The chief, Bob Taylor, arrives. He is a real murder squad detective with 30 years' experience.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Chief.
Richard returned from the killer's game. Rory was not so fortunate. Let's see who Rory chose.
I would like the next lead investigator to be Andrew Weaver. He thinks he hasn't enough confidence in himself to do it, but I think he's a good man for the job, and I hope he goes on to win the competition.
Andrew?
When Rory didn't come back, I'm really pleased that he picked Andrew. I think Andrew's got a lot of nice, sensitive skills, as well as a very clear focus on what we're trying to find out.
He's not a leader and never will be, but there again, he never pretends to be.
The worst thing that Rory could have done was to pick, I don't know, somebody like Richard, because we don't need another domineering lead investigator.
I think it'll be interesting at the case conference tonight, because he won't be very good at leading it, but there again, those of us that are remaining will help him through.
Right. Only 4 suspects remain. Goldie, Jay, Jennifer and Trevor. They all have a motive. Let's talk about the killer clue that Richard brought back from the killer's game. What is it?
Wilmington necklace.
Looks like a jeweller's drawing of the jewel he was about to make.
This is the original design drawing of the necklace. What does it tell you?
The necklace which Catherine was wearing at the time of her death was part of the Wilmington necklace, and that hanging off the bottom of it is a big pendant with 2 peacocks and a large diamond in the middle. And the necklace part which we had hold of is only worth £6,000. So the majority of the value is in that bottom part of the necklace.
Whoever took Goldie hostage now has the top part, which is what we've seen already, and the bottom part is still missing, or someone has it, to put the necklace together, which is worth the $2 million.
Do you think Catherine was wearing the complete necklace on the day that she was murdered?
In the video, the bottom part of the necklace was hidden because it was just down the inside of her t-shirt, so we couldn't see whether there was that part on there or not.
What we can't rule out is the fact that Catherine may have been wearing the complete necklace on the day she was murdered. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes, Chief.
Let's move on to the other recent major development. Goldie's kidnap. Let's look at the kidnap message again. I've had the exhibits officer enhance the video footage.
I have been kidnapped.
It looks like there's books in the background or shelves.
What do you think, Richard?
Well, there's two words, what looks like two words there, which could be pillboxes.
Let's have a look at the sound enhanced tape.
Come alone. Tonight, 6 o'clock. Or I will die. Somebody, please. Somebody help me.
It's inside a house. There was some chiming going on in the background, like a clock of some sort.
It was like a grandfather clock.
Yeah, it
chiming,
was,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Quite loud.
Yeah.
Where have we seen a grandfather clock?
Is there one at Creeksea?
There's one somewhere else as well.
There's one in the antique shop.
Jennifer Wilmington's antique shop.
If it is the antique shop, then as Mel just said, you would collect certain items together, and if you've got lots of pillboxes, you'd put them all in the cardboard box that has pillboxes written on it.
Right. Go confront Jennifer with the evidence that Goldie was kept in the antique shop. What does she know about the kidnapping? Right, let's talk about Trevor's mother, Dorothy. We discovered from Felicity Wilmington that Dorothy was the mother of the baby that was found dead at Creeksea, and that Felicity killed it. But my question is this: does the alleged murder of the baby shed any light on the murder of Catherine Pryor?
Dorothy was pregnant with Charles's baby, and the affair could have continued after Dorothy left the Wilmington service, and Charles Wilmington therefore could have been Trevor's father. If that was the case, then that would make Anya a Wilmington.
On the basis that Trevor is Anya's father.
If Anya's a Wilmington, Jay or Jennifer would not want their inheritance to go to Anya Pryor. So they would have killed Catherine, who knew that fact.
So who else would that give a motive to?
Possibly to Goldie as well, because Goldie is marrying into the Wilmington family.
Andrew, what do you think?
If the baby had survived, that would have affected the whole Wilmington dynasty and who was to inherit what.
The investigators are getting closer to the killer, but before they can move on, the chief has some news.
I had a phone call last night from the local farmer who owns the grain store where Tina Wells' body was found. It's been flooded. What do you think about that?
If the killer has done it, to remove any evidence means the killer's been back to that place.
I think we should check that out, don't you? Two of you need to conduct a thorough search of the grain store and bring back any evidence for analysis. The lead investigator will now join you in the field. So now the rules change. For the first time, the lead investigator is not immune from the vote and could play the killer's game next. You have to decide which investigator you want to work with.
I'll work with Richard, Chief.
Richard is the least popular investigator, but he has passed more lines of inquiry than anyone else, and he's a shrewd choice of teammate. So, Nick and Mel are Team 1. They must confront Jennifer